Good evening, everybody, and welcome. The live today, I think you will find very informative. I am assuming, however, that we won't be having many of our usual American listeners today, because, of course, it is their elections, which is a amazing guest in the form of Master Del Pay, who is very much a modern sage and a healing guru. I've had the honor of attending one of his um, live workshops, and it was, well, to say it was incredible would be an understatement. So we're just waiting for Master Del Pay to join now, and then we will be able to get started. He is online. We really do think, okay, Master Del Pay is on the call, on the live. Master Del Pay, do you have a link or something saying join the call? You should have an invitation to say that you can join the live as a co-host. Okay, let's try that again. Yep. There we go.
Here I am.
Fantastic. Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
How are you today?
Good. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak and to share my information.
No, thank
Can you hear me?
for taking time out. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, fine. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. First of all, Master Del Pay, thank you again for taking time out of your day to join us. We really do appreciate it. And I also just checked, well, I'm not entirely sure. Are you currently in the States or are you in the Philippines at the moment?
I'm currently in the Philippines right now, in Asia.
Oh gosh, so you managed to stay up quite late for us. So we really do appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
It's just midnight. It's my normal time.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Well, Master Del Pay, shall we dive right in? I'm so excited to learn a bit more about you because, as I was just saying, as I was doing the technical stuff, I had obviously the pleasure of attending one of your live sessions on the Wellness Lifestyle Conference, and it was incredible. It was so life-changing and also so incredibly simple. You know, so much wisdom can oftentimes be, I think, made to seem more difficult than it needs to be. But before we get into all of that, I'd love it if you could tell us a bit about you, the person, the man behind the icon. You know, what got you started on this journey?
Well, I was born in the Philippines and a Filipino-Chinese family. But I was educated by the Europeans. I studied with the Europeans, the Germans, the Swiss, the Dutch, and the Belgians in the school. So by education, I was a graduate of mechanical engineering.
Right.
And then after I got licensed, I went abroad to work in the Middle East to work with the American Arabian Oil Company. The biggest company today is that, which is dealing with oil, but that's only 10 years of my life. My avocation before was to teach martial arts. I was the chief instructor for 13 cities, and I'm I would say a karateka, but I studied many styles, so I mix styles. But my passion really is to heal and serve people, to teach people with the many philosophies of life that I learned around the world. I have 4 mentors, physical mentors, who are from Asia and from the Himalayas, and one of them is an immortal yogi. They said that he is 400 years old. So I learned basically some strategies to prolong your life, longevity, and the science of immortality in the sense. So I don't know how long I would live, but I will do my best to uh, uphold to the fact that I can live longer using the techniques I've learned, and I'm teaching to people today, which I've written in a book called The Higher Science on Longevity. And I live in the US for maybe 28 years. I lived first in New York City, then I moved to Houston, Texas, and from there
Mm-hmm.
on, I built my centers in different countries. In fact, I spent a great deal in my life in Africa for 2 years. I was teaching a lot of people there how to heal HIV and AIDS. I've been much in Joburg and Durban, in Cape Town, and different places as well. And I was also a consultant for the SABC leadership before, and also Vodacom and Escom and many other companies on the side. So I enjoyed my life there in South Africa and many aspects of Africa. And I love Africa in the sense that it has a natural beauty. But I extensively traveled to more than 100 countries teaching. So my life is a lot of traveling journey,
I see.
not
So,
only internally, externally, but internally.
right, which is where all the growth really happens. And I can
Yeah.
tell that you definitely have a love of teaching as well. You know, you again,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to communicate very complicated concepts in such a beautiful, simplistic manner that is just incredible to behold. So we thank you for that as well. Um,
Yeah.
if I may ask, what are your sort of goals for your institute moving forward?
I have 3 institutes, and they have different goals, but they end up more on transformation of humanity, uplifting lives, and ushering the incoming new humanity and the new world. So my first company is the Wisdom Institute for Leadership and Global Advancement, based in the US. These are all based in the US, and I bring them abroad. And this is a company, an institute, does focus on bringing conscience and heart to entrepreneurs and wisdom in leaders. So the main goal is how to stimulate the conscience and the heart in entrepreneurship and wisdom in leadership. So that's the main goal. And I have a curriculum for self-care, how to manage their total well-being first, and then self-development, and then self-mastery. So there are different chairs. The more advanced executives need self-mastery and enlightenment. The second tier needs self-development and self-improvement, equipping them with tools. But most of them need self-care. They need to take care of their health, their well-being, their sanity, and the stress and all kinds of crises. Now, that is one of my school. Another school is the World Institute for Incurable Diseases, which I brought to South Africa to deal with HIV and AIDS and other incurable diseases, such as COVID-19 today. So that one is responsible for 57 specializations. I am the founder of a modality in energy medicine, which I'm spreading globally, that can take care of incurable diseases. It's a special program that deals with healing sciences and healing specializations, a little bit more advanced than normal. So that one, I'm putting healing centers globally before, but now I'm doing it online with all our certified healers around the world. We're doing it online for 16 years. So during COVID-19, it's like a fiesta for me and for others who are with me, because we have
Of
done it for
course.
16 years, online coaching, online healing. And now we're just continuing it, and others are just starting the online services, which we have done for 16 years. So we have quadrupled our output and ROI during this time, because we are already experts on the line that we're doing right now. My other company is the Be Life Institute for Higher Consciousness, which is
Mm-hmm.
teaching esoteric science, esoteric psychology, anything that is sciences, philosophies, they're put in one pot called the Be Life Institute. And it's
Right.
one of those that triggered me to organize the third convention for higher consciousness, which will be November 8 and 15. And maybe I'd like to invite your listeners later on to attend that, and
Please.
you also. It's an
Absolutely.
international higher consciousness.
That is so amazing. Because I've actually been looking at the last one that you're talking about now, and looking at ways to come through and join that, because it's certainly right up my alley. You know, with those hidden teachings and learning more about the esoteric wisdom that the world has to offer, that especially in the West we don't often have access to. But in terms of your Institute for Incurable Diseases, if I may ask, and also for our listeners today who aren't aware, how is it that you go about tackling that? You know, helping people to overcome those obstacles.
We have a profiling tool which I designed in my book called the 8 types of patients. There are 8 types of patients and clients. So if we think that not one size fits all, then it's very important to understand what kind of patients are we dealing with our client. Because if we don't understand the client, it's hard to understand the triggers of their diseases or their sufferings or crises. Even the same cancer is a different trigger for different kinds of patients. So as there are 8 types of human designs, there are 8 types of approaches for different things. There are people who have more willpower than heart. So they are very tough people, so they can stand pain. But their weakness is the lack of heart and the lack of tact and patience. Now, there are people who are very talented and intelligent, but they lack power. So their problem is they're not disciplined to execute what you suggest to them. So you need to aid them with the willpower development. Now, there are people who are very loving, but they don't have discipline. So they need to have discipline and willpower instead of just more emotional healing. So we profile clients, and out of that profile, we design the best strategies and tactics that will suit their best output and best ROI. So that is what is not available in medicine, in allopathic medicine and modern medicine, is they think that everyone has the same profile. So if, for example, the COVID-19, some people will not have a symptom, some people have symptoms, some have comorbidities. And so if people have the same COVID viral load, what kind of person can stand the viral load compared to others depend on the profile. Because when I heal COVID-19, some people can survive a big viral load without having a hospitalization, and they are asymptomatic.
Right.
Some people have low viral load of COVID-19 and they go to ICU in 3 days. So I studied why is that happening? Why are people affected more in the guts than the lungs or the heart or the eyes? Because they have different profiles. And their profiles had the lifestyle changed, has also to do with how would they modify their habits, their food, their attitudes, so that they will be away from the templates of infection. So that is one thing that I would like to tell your listeners as well, that people have different profiles and different approaches.
Okay. And that actually makes so much sense. And, oh, excuse me. That makes perfect sense, because something that's been coming out as sort of a theme over the last couple of interviews that I've been doing and looking at the various speakers that we have on the Wellness Lifestyle Conference and the work that they do, whether it be iridology or foot reading or, you know, whatever that it is that they work with. The one thing they say is, you know, no two people are alike. Obviously, we know this. You know, it is, everybody has completely different DNA. And then above and beyond that, it's nature times nurture. So one person might come from a specific family, but because they are subjected to very different lifestyle changes, their whole physiology changes as well. So I hear what you're saying. That it's something that is very near and dear to my heart in terms of helping people in the West to start to look at the human condition from a holistic point of view. One where we're taking into account not just the physical, but the emotional, the mental, and the energetic bodies in order to create a balanced outlook in terms of healing someone. So, yes.
Yeah, I think healing the consequence and the symptoms are good for emergency. Like if a person has a exploded appendix, they need to go to the hospital.
Absolutely.
If they broke their ankles and their legs, they need to go to the orthopedic. But in terms of healing versus cure, when you have cure, there's already very highly proven methods like medicine that does allow
Mm-hmm.
the science to work. But there are other diseases and discoveries that are not scientifically, I would say, validated. So they need to be in the hands of the healers who can palpitate by
Mm-hmm.
energy scanning, use their intuition and their third eye and clairvoyance to look into the patient that is not in the scientific format, so that the subjective cause of diseases, not just the objective, can also be seen. Because a lot of subjective causes, like it's in your mind, it's still true. Mind is real. So the doctor say, oh, it's not real because I cannot test your stool and your blood. But the
Mm.
scientist is always looking at science about the non-science aspect of diseases, the feelings, the thoughts, the karma, the bad luck that comes when people have negative thinking and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my favorite Hollywood movie quotes is from Harry Potter, where Harry asks the professor, Professor, is this all in my head or is it real? And the professor turns around and says, well, of course it's all in your head, Harry, but why should that make it any less real?
Mm-hmm.
And every time
Yeah,
I hear that quote, I just more and more people need to realize that that is a very real truth. Just because it's in your head
yeah,
doesn't make it not real. So yes.
yeah. Like thoughts are real, feelings are real, and loneliness
Mm-hmm.
cannot be measured by chemical, uh, I would say, uh, probing, but loneliness is real and it causes people to die and sulk. So most people who cannot read the scientific aspect of diseases think that it's not real because it's in your head or in your emotions. But I see a lot of people who have more problems through emotional discomfort than physical discomforts.
Absolutely, for sure. I could not agree with you more on that. But okay, Master Delpe, you've mentioned a couple of events that are coming up. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? How can people get in touch with you or purchase tickets, attend, etc.? We'd love to know.
Yeah. Thank you very much for asking me. I'll be honored to invite people, your followers, your viewers, and your listeners, and yourself, your good self. This is the convention on higher consciousness. So this is very important because most of the conventions are already exploring about COVID-19, the health, the wellness, and so on. Now I'm
Mhm.
bringing and stretching the envelope, people, and pushing the envelope a little further to deal with the exoteric part of the economy, of health, of many things that's happening right now, and entertaining the mystical explanations to it, and then the esoteric explanation, so that they will have all the facets involved in what's going on around the world right now. Most of the facets of people giving conventions now are on the exoteric part, on the physical or almost scientific part
Mhm.
and the physical part. Now, I have been a speaker for a lot of that already, and I know that it's like regurgitating in the same topic everywhere from Asia to. So I'm moving forward to bring the esoteric part that's not usually discussed in circles and conferences and even in the social media. So the esoteric part is what is missing, the hidden parts, like what is really behind the consequences of our global economy, the pandemic, the sufferings of humanity, the karmic causes of human suffering. What is the initiation that is bringing humanity to go into a punishment side or a pandemic side? And what is the relation between the karma of the earth and humanity? So it's about how to raise our bar of consciousness so that we can see as like a pilot all the things we are now confused with. So
Mhm.
behind the confusion, the ambiguity, the unpredictability, the complexity of our lives today in this failing time, there are good causes why the destruction is positive. It's called positive destruction, as opposed to
Yeah.
negative destruction caused by the negative side of life. So I welcome a lot of speakers globally who are experts in their own analysis of the exoteric part of the global economy, but some are expert on the local economy of their own productions, such as holistic centers who are not promoting and reinventing healthcare. Like such as our group, we are promoting the reinventing healthcare that does combine holistic healthcare, complementary medicine and functional medicine and allopathic medicine as a new way of looking at solutions like such as pandemic. Because I think our healthcare is failing, and we cannot be a victim of a failing system and just waiting for them to validate that they failed. We need to start to take charge of our health, our well-being, and also to join the forces of the frontliners. That's not just scientists or doctors, but even non-scientists who are philosophers, spiritualists, healers, life coaches, and life mentors should join hand in together to help the failing medical system. So they have to bring the best of the East and the West together. And that's the only time that we can really subdue this pandemic in the right order. So we welcome a lot of the speakers who are spiritualists, using their clairvoyance to predict the future. We welcome people who are thinking of the new opportunities and new careers of the future based on educationists, people who are rectors of universities, versus people who are designing new curriculum for the livelihood program and training on the new earning prongs rather than the old careers. So predictions of the new careers and opportunities. And we also welcome the earth changes topics, the psychics who came, who have predicted this pandemic, are now going to say also that this is the next. So like I've written a book called Aquarian Revolution 6 years ago, and I predicted this pandemic. 2 years ago, we had the convention on the higher consciousness. I have put a platform about the earth changes and what's going to happen, and this is happening now, and they have heard it right through our conferences. And we have also a conference on growing stronger and wiser through change. Some wise people will have to contribute how their wisdom and their strength was evolved through failing, at the same time through evolving, through moving forward, not thinking of failure, but on the next steps. And we have also a topic on the new best normal. What do they predict as the new best normal? How to go there from A to Z, and how also to be safe and be sustainable. So we have safety to sustainability topics by commander of Air Force, by a preppers coach, and by a scientist also. And we have also scientists who are inventing the new internet, who will reveal their inventions and their solutions. So we have an array of scientists, to mystics, to esoteric scientists, to spiritual technologists, to clairvoyance, and it's going to be a very enriching experience because it's not one point of view of science or mysticism. It's like a joint forces, and from there we moderate and connect the dots.
Right. That sounds amazing, and I'm sure everybody who's listening to this or catching the replay must be very excited to join. I know I am. This kind of brings me to
November 8 and 15. I forgot November 8 and 15, and they can always contact us or look at our website, the bit.ly/ICHCglobal.com. So bit.ly/ICHCglobal.com. So people can contact you or contact us, and I'd like to offer you a free 5 passes as a gift to you and your listeners. You select whatever you want and I'd like them to attend so that they will bring the good news that there are solutions ahead. But there are also things that we have to accept, that there's a positive destruction that will bring forth the best reconstruction in the future.
Thank you so much for that free gift. I really do appreciate it, Master Delpe. We'll definitely make sure that the right people are chosen for that. So if you're listening, well, to all our listeners, please do DM me if you're wanting to get access to that, and we will make sure to hook you up. First come, first serve, of course. Master Delpe, so I will make sure that that website link is in the comments, and also when we start posting across the various channels that we post that as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And of course, you will be tagged in this video too, so people can go straight from this to your Instagram page as well, and then we can take it from there. Now, I have one last question before I let you go. Source of, I guess, a little bit of personal curiosity, call it the Westerner in me. Do you think that with everything that's been happening, because it really has been a case of the times have sort of been speeding up. Like it feels like we've been hurtling towards this, like you call it, positive destruction. That, you know, the old things are breaking down to give way to something new. And something that's very near dear to my heart that you mentioned right at the outset, something that I've been studying and looking into for a number of years and practices that I'm wanting to eventually get into, is achieving what the Taoists refer to as immortality, and the yogis as well. Do you think that with all of these changes that humanity is going through, that we will see more people waking up to the fact that they don't have to die at 70? And it's not going to take a fancy pill or injection or anything like that to extend their lives, but that actually there are practices here and now that they can use that they will be able to achieve longevity?
I think there is a big possibility. I've seen it with my naked eye. My other mentor, which is 400 years old, they say, is not eating anymore. He's always naked in the snow. I studied with him in the caves of the Himalayas. And I have studied deeply the science of longevity. I've gone to the best supercentenarians on Earth's group in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, in Ogimi, Okinawa. There are also in a Caucasian mountain and Russia and in the Pakistan borders. So I have studied deeply this subject matter, and I have laid out the esoteric secrets of these people, their exoteric lifestyle. And I have studied deeply. It's possible to live more than 110 because I've seen them, but it's not through science yet. They don't have a science to it. And I've studied, there are 6 aspects or 6 or 7 aspects why they're common threads, and they are eating differently and they are drinking differently, but there are different, and one of them is functionality. They are functional until they're 100-year-old. They're washing their laundry, they're still gardening, they're still barefooted, stepping on their garden, they're carrying their pail of water, and they have a sense of fun. They have always a sense of humor. They always look for something good, what they see, and they have a sense of faith that things will go on better and better. Even they are pain, they said it will go. If the storm, it will finish and something. So they have a sense of fun and sense of positivity. Another one is a sense of friendship. Even their families have died, they will always look for somebody to befriend and be of help to others, nurturing and that. So they have that. Another one is the sense of good food, in the sense of freshness, and even they eat meat. They don't have refrigerators, and they have the sense of fresh water, fresh air, fresh meat. So the sense of freshness and robustness happens, and the sense of faith, fun, the sense of friendship, and functionality is what I see a lot of them have. They have always worked in their entire life. They were industrious. Until they're 108, they're still like looking and cooking their own food and so on. And I think that is one. But also there's a gene component to it. But I think most of this is the sense of lifestyle and sense of positivity and so on. This is a book I've written, and it includes also the karmic laws that makes you live longer and the dharmic laws that makes you live longer. So the karma and the dharma is included in my book. What are the different rules to follow? Physical rules, emotional rules, mental rules, spiritual rules, karmic rules, dharmic rules, and longevity secrets, and how they live, and also my own compilation of the best technique, combining the best of martial arts, best of yoga and meditation and healing. And this synthesized, I put them in certain rules of the game of longevity. And I think one of the foremost thing that I can say that is really deep into my system is the ability to awaken the power of the soul and bring it forth into the cellular level, into the fire elementals, into the water elements, into the air elements of your body. And so there's a part of the soul that is immortal. There's a part of the soul that is wise. There's a part of the soul that is intelligent. But there's a part of the soul that is long life substance. And now, if you can bring that and you can puncture that storehouse of long life substance and bring it to the cellular level and to the bones, muscles, organs, tissues, nerves, That is one of the secrets I see these immortals doing in the Himalayas. And I have discovered myself that I was able to reverse certain age, because I used to work in Saudi Arabia for 10 years, and I had lost my hair. I have grown so old because of the heat. And then I had traveled 100 flights a year and live in hotels, live in planes, and live in the airport, teaching
Yeah.
everywhere. So I had grown so old and burned out because of this work. And
Mm-hmm.
when I wrote this book, I experimented the technique that can reverse the age and extend your youthful life. And so these are part of the book's wisdom.
Well, that is amazing. So I wish we could chat some more, but I have an interview now with actually one of your disciples, business partner as well, I'm
Yes.
assuming, marketing director, yes,
Yes.
in just a minute. So we'll have to leave it there, but I look forward to our next chat. Um, and one of the things that I want to pick your brain on is alchemy the next time we hopefully have a discussion. But one last thing is, to those listening, the link in my bio will take you through to the Wellness Lifestyle Conference, where you will have access to Master Del Pay's premium content that he has been so kind to share with us. And for those who send us a screenshot of their ticket and comment on this video, we will be offering a prize, we'll be having a prize giving, where you'll be able to receive a copy of Master Del Pay's book as well that he has just spoken about. And you too can learn the secrets of longevity. So, Master Del Pay, thank you again for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And I look forward to our next chat, and I will definitely see you at the summit coming up in November. Thank you so much.
Please do. And thank you again.
Great evening, folks.
And blessings. Blessings.
Blessings unto you as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.